Welcome to Hilary Emmanuel Ministries, where faith meets power, purity and prosperity, and breakthroughs are born. At Diadem, we equip you with bold prayers, life-transforming teachings, and spiritual strategies to overcome every challenge life throws your way. Join us as we dive into God's Word, experience His presence like never before, and walk in His purpose for our lives. If you're in London, we invite you to fellowship with us in person at Diadem, 4 Pegamoid Road, N18 2NG. Don't forget to subscribe now and let's grow in faith together.
Brethren, today is another day of great warfare, but not the common warfare as we know it. It's a warfare that will dig up a lot of sad memories. It's a warfare that will invoke a lot of emotions. And that's the only way we can fight this battle and achieve our desires. The Father wants us to pray this prayer very intensively because He Himself said He has remembered some things and He wants to avenge. He wants to fight for us. And that's why He instructed us to fight this battle tonight. I'm talking to you on what I call, remember what Satan did to you. Remember what Satan did to you. You could as well say, remember what your enemies did to you. You can also put it this way, remember what human beings did to you. You can even go further and say, remember what witchcraft did to you. Or you say, remember what the foundations did to you. Remember what darkness did to you. And when you remember all these things, it's going to invoke some things inside you. And there's a reason why the Father has kept this till now. He wants to first of all fill us with power. Because without power in you, even if you remember, there's nothing you can do. Without power in you, you can't avenge, you can't fight, you can't do anything. But now He's satisfied with the power in us. And He wants us to remember. What exactly did they do? And what does the Lord want us to remember? Deuteronomy 25. Deuteronomy 25. Look at verse 17. This was the Lord speaking to Moses. And He said to him, remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way. The Lord was telling Moses, when you were coming from Egypt in the wilderness, you remember, Amalek was not the only enemy they met on the road. They met different hostile nations. But God specifically picked Amalek. He said, remember what Amalek did to you. What did they do? He said, when ye came forth out of Egypt, verse 18, how he met thee by the way and smote the hindermost of thee. Amalek targeted Israel. And what Amalek did was, Amalek did not fight them from the front. Amalek studied them and allowed the strong ones to go and then went from the back. All those who are sick, all those who are old, women, children, the feeble, all those who are disabled, all of them who are at the back, Amalek crossed those ones and slaughtered those ones. And that thing pained the heart of God. And God said, Moses, remember what Amalek did to you. They looked for, he said, how they smote the hindermost, even all that were feeble behind thee. They look for the feeble people. They look for those who are defenseless, who couldn't fight, who couldn't defend themselves. He said they smote them when thou was faint and weary. Do you know what that means? When Israel was tired. We've been studying a lot of things here. And we've studied the hours of darkness. That a lot of things happen in the hours of darkness. It's a period the believer is tired. It's a period the believer is weak. It's a period your prayer life is down. It's a period you are discouraged. It's a period you don't even feel like serving God anymore. In that moment of their faintness, that's when Amalek came upon them. He said they waited for when you are faint. They waited for when you had no strength. And they fell upon you then. and they did not fear God. Verse 19, therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy God had given thee rest from all thy enemies round about. Why didn't God tell Moses that day? That day they fought the battle. That day Amalek attacked them. Why didn't God tell Moses, stand up, pursue Amalek and go and fight them? No, because Israel was not in a position that day. Israel didn't have the strength, the courage, the ability to fight that day. And look at what God is saying now. He say, don't worry, when you recover, when you have rested, when you have no more much battle to fight, and you are strong enough, that's when you will fight this battle. Postpone it, hide it. Don't fight it now. Don't fight it now. You will fight it later. He said, when I've given you rest round about and no enemy is troubling you again, you have not too many battles in your hand anymore, that's when you are going to fight against Amalek. In the land which the Lord thy God giveth it for an inheritance to possess, that thou shalt, you look at what God said they should do. Look at how God wants them to do it. He said, the day you are going to fight against Amalek, the day I have settled you, you are settled down, and you are going to fight against Amalek, this is how I want you to fight it. It's not ordinary battle. I told you that tonight's battle is not ordinary one. He says it's not the way you fought all other battles. The one of Amalek must be different and distinct. How did he say they should fight it? He said they should blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under this heaven. And he now said something. Are you following me? What did he say? He said, don't ever forget this thing, no matter how many generations it takes. Say, do not ever forget it. Write it down. Write it down. And make sure you hand it over from generation to generation, that they remember to fight this battle. The name of Amalek must disappear from under this heaven. That's the kind of battle we are going to fight here today. And you are fighting against power that touched you, that attacked you when you are most vulnerable, that didn't fear God, that came upon you when you were totally ignorant, that touched you and damaged a lot of things in your life. You say, remember them. Don't ever forget. Don't ever forget. So you can see what God do. And you know, in the future, God was waiting which generation will fight this battle. God was waiting. God was weighing all the generation. He was settling them down. In the days of Joshua, he didn't tell them to go and fight that battle. Joshua passed, Gideon passed, all the judges passed. He didn't tell them to go and fight that battle. He was waiting until Israel will settle down properly and get power to be able to fight it. There were some things that happened to you before. Maybe you don't even know about it. Maybe you were not even conscious about it. Witchcraft attacks, some demonic attacks that happened in the past, but that time you didn't have the power to fight them. You didn't have the power to fight them. And God is waiting for the right time when he will fill you with power, when he will endue you with power. And now he has filled you with power and is telling you, remember. This is the time to remember. And the instruction of what you do to them is very clear. The instructions say, delete them from under this heaven. Simple. Delete them. Complete wipe out. Exodus 17. Exodus 17. Look at verse 8. Because this was exactly what really happened. Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said unto Joshua, choose us out men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said unto him and fought with Amalek. And Moses and Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. They were not ordinary enemy. They were a difficult enemy to fight against. It involved even serious prophetic action. And their battle was going to and fro. So it was not easy to fight against Amalek. Verse 12. But Moses' hand were weary, very heavy. And they took a stone and put it under him. And he sat there on. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hand. And one on one side and the other on the other side. And his hand was steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord said unto Moses, write this down for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. This is not the only tribe that fought against Israel. Jericho fought against them. Different other tribes fought against them. But it was only Amalek that Jehovah God made. He said, write it down. Write it down. I will delete Amalek from under the heaven. That no race, no blood, that Amalek blood will remain under the heaven. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi. For he said, because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So it has now turned to God's war. It has become now the war of the Lord himself. And one will have thought, why didn't God forgive the people of Amalek? Because I'm talking of those who are saying, what of forgiveness? This is a thing that happened in the olden days. You should forget it. Why didn't God forget it? Why did God write it down? And generations, 500 years, 1,000 years later, the Lord was still fighting that battle. He refused to forgive. He was still fighting that battle. He said he will not stop from generation to generation until he delete Amalek from under this heaven. 1 Samuel 15, look at verse 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, because all this while, God has been waiting for the opportunity to be able to do this. He has been weighing all the generations of Israel, generation by generation. He didn't give it during the generation of Samson. He didn't do it during the generation of Jephthah. He didn't do it during, although he waited until when he got to the time of Saul. Look at what God now said. Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me. Do you see that? The Lord woke Samuel up. He said, go and tell King Saul. He said, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the word of the Lord. Thus said the Lord of hosts. What did the Lord say? I remember that which Amalek did to Israel. Do you know Israel has forgotten? And that's why I'm telling you today, remember what your enemies did to you. Don't forget that easily. Don't forget. You see, Jehovah God did not forget. He said, I remember what Amalek did to you. How he laid wait, they laid ambush. He laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Verse 3, he said, now go and smite Amalek. The time has come. You have the power. I've given you the power. You have the best prophet with you. Go now. It's time to remember Amalek. He said, go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have. Look at the prescription of the war. Spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. Everything you see there must be slaughtered. Total wipeout. The Lord has waited for this moment for over 500 years. From the time of Moses, from the time of the wilderness, the Lord has been waiting for this moment. He said, go now. This is the time to remember them. Verse 7. And Saul, look at verse 7. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah till thou comest to Shur, that is over against Egypt. Saul did a good job. Verse 8. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive. Is that the instruction? But please, I beg you here today, don't take anything alive. No matter how they try to convince you. This is where the trouble of Saul started. And all other good work that he has done, all those who has slaughtered, this one spoiled everything for him. So he took Agag alive and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep and of the oxen and of the fatling and the lamb, and of that was good, and would not utterly destroy them, but everything that was vile and refuse, that they destroyed utterly. Please do not modify God's instruction. Do not try to correct God. Do exactly as he has commanded, because we don't know what he knows. We don't see what he sees. Because later, many generations later, so many generations, hundreds of years later, somebody will come out called Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, from this Agag, from this same Agag. That what was his plot? To wipe out the Jews. So the enemies God is telling you today, wipe them out, brethren, quickly obey God. No sentiment. Wipe them out now. So that you don't go and spare people that will trouble your children tomorrow. If not because of the wisdom of Esther, that she called for 3 days dry fast. That was how they were able to overthrow the whole plot of Haman. He will have wiped out the Jews. The same thing God instructed them to do to them here. So they brought them home. Verse 10. Then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, it repented me that I have set up Saul to be king. God started to regret. He said, I've waited for this opportunity for so long. This man has foiled my hand. He has disappointed me. For he is turned back from following me, and has not performed my commandments. And he grieved Samuel. And look at what Samuel did that night. He cried throughout that night. He cried unto the Lord all night. Samuel cried all night. And when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place, and is gone about and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal. Verse 13. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, blessed be thou of the Lord. I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, what meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in my ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear? And Saul said, they have brought. And now, assuming Samuel was a blind prophet, a deaf prophet, that cannot see, that cannot hear anything, he will have fooled him. He will have fooled him. I've done everything, and even used the term, blessed of the Lord. Spirituality, fake spirituality. And Saul said, verse 15, they have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Then Samuel said unto Saul, stay, I will tell thee what the Lord has said to me this night. And he said, say on. And Samuel said, when thou wast little in thy own sight, was thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And the Lord anointed thee king over Israel, and the Lord sent thee on a journey. Brethren, do you know what you are doing here tonight is a journey? And this journey is the Lord sending you. Is the Lord sending you. Because there are some enemies. There are some enemies that killed innocent people. In the time past, you don't know anything about this. And that thing touched the heart of God. And God has been preparing you since then for the vengeance. God has been preparing you for hundreds of years, waiting for this day to come, so that he will use you to revenge. He said, the Lord sent thee on a journey, and said, go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them till they be consumed. Till they be consumed. You don't know why you were born into that family where you are. You don't know why you were born in that family. You don't know why you were brought to diadem, to be trained of the Lord, so that you can fight against darkness, so that you can fight against wickedness, so that you can fight against witchcraft in that foundation, and so that you can fight against them until they be consumed. Otherwise, if you fail to do it now that you have this power and understanding, nobody else in that foundation will rise up for the next how many years? Say, the Lord sent you on this journey for this serious assignment to do this. Verse 19, wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, but did fly upon the spoil, and did evil in the sight of the Lord? Verse 20, and Saul said unto Samuel, yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. He's still arguing. But the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, and the chief of the things which have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice to the Lord thy God in Gilgal. And Samuel said, had the Lord as great delight in burnt offering and sacrifice as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness as iniquity, as idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. Verse 24. And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord and thy word, because I fear the people and obey their voice. Verse 32. Then said Samuel, bring ye hither to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came unto him, do you see, delicately, unrepentant enemy, proud enemies. He was even coming to Samuel in pride, delicately. Possibly Saul has even been worshiping himself. Possibly Saul has been treating him well, kept him in the palace. And so he came delicately to Samuel. And look at the first thing he will say. And Agag said, surely the bitterness of death is past. Why did he say this? You see how the enemies think. You see how they think. They want you to forget what they did to you. They want you to forget it. And God is saying, don't forget it. God is saying, remember it. He says, surely there is no more death. Now that I've seen Samuel. He's talking the way they take Christians generally. Say, is he not Christian? He will forgive. He will forgive. Man of God, forgiveness. The moment he saw Samuel, he said, no more death. Bitterness of death is over. They want you to forgive and move on. But they are not repentant in their wickedness. Never. Verse 33. And Samuel said, as thy sword had made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces. Are you seeing how we're going to fight the war today? No gentleman, not even Samuel. Samuel has never gone to war before. Samuel has never killed anybody before. But this day, because it's the Lord's battle and it's something very important in the hand of Jehovah, to the point, Moses called God by a name that day. So that Israel will remember that name forever. He said, Jehovah Nissi. Anytime you hear that name, you remember Amalek. You remember Amalek. So Samuel threw away all the gentlemanship and all those things and took sword by himself and cut Agag in pieces. He hewed him in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. And of course, you know the consequence of what happened. God rejected King Saul just for this one offense. Just this one offense only. And God rejected him outrightly. Even when Samuel interceded and Samuel cried and begged, God refused. Because of what? Because God has waited for that opportunity for over 500 years. And this man squandered everything. God has been preparing the nation, preparing people, checking up people, generation by generation. Who is able to do this job for me? Who is able to do this? And finally found a generation that will do it. And the man messed everything up. The same thing with us here, brethren. The Lord has been waiting for this opportunity for so long. Possibly from the creation of your family generation. He has been waiting since. Generation upon generation. Some believers will rise up in your family, but they are not strong believers. God will say, no, this one cannot do it. You allow them to live and die and go. And be waiting till finally you appeared. Till finally he directed you to where you are now, to where you are hearing these things. And he said, yes, this is the right person. Please, don't disappoint God tonight. And that thing pained God so much because they attacked Israel in the moment Israel was weak. In the moment Israel was struggling. Israel was not in a good position. The Christian race we are in. Brethren, the occasions will become very strong. Strong in prayers, strong in faith, strong in Christian practices. Everything we are strong. But the other times we are weak. You can't even pray. Even if you want to pray, you get to the place of prayer, you can't open your mouth. You don't even feel like praying. You don't even believe what you are doing anymore. You doubt everything you have ever even, all your conviction, you doubt all of them. At that moment, there are enemies that are waiting to attack you. And those enemies are what God is telling you, don't forget. Always remember them. Enemies that attack you when you cannot defend yourself. Some people might not understand what we are talking about when we say don't forget what Satan did to you. Because Saul didn't experience it personally. It wasn't him they attacked. Possibly he did not even know that they killed his family members in that thing. So that's why he made a joke of it. He didn't take it seriously. But if you have been a victim of Satan yourself, if you have been a victim of witchcraft, if you have been a victim of human wickedness, then you will understand. You will understand. When God is telling you, do not forget, you will remember quickly. If Satan followed you, for example, from birth, if Satan used foundational witchcraft, family witchcraft, village witchcraft, human beings, demons, to reshape your destiny, to alter your destiny, to fill your life with pain and sorrow, and all you have experienced all your life is bitterness, then when we are saying do not forget what the enemy did to you, you will remember. You will remember. If God said don't forget, you will quickly remember. See somebody. Let me show you a man that God didn't need to remind him and say, don't forget what the enemy did to you. Job chapter 16. Job 16. Look at verse 11. We all know the story very well. We all know how it all started. That Job was at peace. Job was minding his business. Job was living his normal life. Until Satan started to go to God repeatedly, just desiring to destroy Job for nothing's sake. Now look at what Job said in verse 11. Because Job didn't know what was going on. Job concluded that it was God, and of course it was God, because God was the one that handed him over to Satan. If God stood his ground and said, no, I will not hand over my children to you, there's no how Satan will have touched him. Now look at what Job said. He said, God has delivered me to the ungodly. Is it not true? Is it not God that delivered him to Satan? He said, God delivered me to the ungodly and turned me over into the hands of the wicked. Verse 12. I was at ease. He said, my life was peaceful. I was just living a normal, quiet life. But what happened? He said, he has broken me asunder. Does Job need anybody to tell him, don't forget how you were broken asunder? He said, he has broken me asunder. He has also taken me by my neck and shaking me into pieces. Are you seeing that? Does God need to remind Job now and say, remember what Satan did to you? Job himself has the testimony. He said Satan grabbed him by the neck and shook him until he turned to a rag. He has shaken him into pieces and set me up for his mark. Verse 13. His archers, they compassed me about, and they cleaved my rein asunder. He said they put him like a target. They put him like a target. And then archers, they surrounded him, and everybody was shooting the arrow. He said they shot him until the point that all his body broke into pieces and all his intestines gushed out. He said they clave him asunder, and they did not spare. They did not pity him. He poured out my gall upon the ground. Verse 14. He breaketh me with breach upon breach. So they were hitting me over and over again. I was screaming and crying and dying, and they did not stop. They did not pity me. Now, when you tell somebody like Job and say, remember what Satan did unto you, will he not remember? Because he can catalog everything they did to him one by one. Look at how he's outlining them. He said, this is what they did. How they shook me to pieces. How they used arrow to pieces me. How my God poured into the ground. And all those things. And how he breaketh me in breach upon breach. He runneth upon me like a giant. He said, while I was in that helpless condition, while they have broken me in pieces and they have torn me asunder, they now started to run over me like a giant. Verse 16. My face is foul with weeping. He has cried and cried, and the face has been disfigured. And on my eyelid is the shadow of death. If you look at him, you see death on his face. You see death on his face. And yet they did not stop. They did not pity him. They did not spare. Look at verse 17. He said, not for any injustice. He said, I did not do any wrong. I did not offend anybody. I did not do anything wrong. He said, not for any injustice in my hand. Also my prayer is pure. That's all I do. I pray pure prayers. And yet, they decided to do this to me. So, if God now will take Job and fill Job with the kind of power he filled you with at the conference, and then God comes to you the way he came to me, and say, remember everything Satan did unto you. Brethren, if you can't even remember anything, what of delay? What of blockages? What of frustration? Everything you touch, they will attack it. Everything God will show you, they will block it. Many times the Lord has shown you great things, promised you great things, and you wake up rejoicing, and then they will sit upon it. That's what God is telling you. Remember. Remember. Because today is that day the Lord has been waiting for. Let's close our eyes. We are going to begin to talk to the Lord and say, my God and my Father, I cry unto you now. Help me, Lord, and remember everything that Satan did unto me.
Thank you for watching. If this message blessed you, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to join our growing community of faith. You've just listened to the sermon, but there are powerful prayers that follow. Due to social media rules and guidelines, the prayers have been removed from this video. However, you can access the full prayers and more life-changing resources by visiting www.pastorhillary.org or downloading our app, Diadem Media. If you're in the London area, we'd love to have you fellowship with us in person at 4 Pegamoid Road, N18 2NG. If you have any questions about this message, want counseling from Pastor Hillary, or wish to share your testimonies following the prayers, please leave a comment below and someone from our team will get in touch. Until next time, may God bless you abundantly and guide you in all your ways. Stay victorious.